this lesson builds on the angle relationships with parallel lines from last day. So last day we looked at co-interior, corresponding the day before, alternate interior, alternate exterior. So basically the idea is we're going to prove things today, and a proof is this idea of every time you make a statement, you have to give a mathematical reason. And if you see the column to the right, it will say justification. So I'm going to say something. Now, these are a little bit tricky, and it takes a little bit of practice. But ultimately, we have to start somewhere, and we start with given information if we're giving it. But at the very last statement is what we want to prove to be true. So in this one right here, we want to prove that vertically opposite angles are equal. So I'm going to label these angles A, B, C, and D. And one of the other difficult things about this idea that we're looking at today is you have to make lots of decisions. So here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to prove that these two angles are equal. Now we know they're equal. But that's going to be our very last statement. So here's the first thing I'm going to notice. I'm going to notice that angle A and angle D add up to 180 degrees. And the reason for that is supplementary. And we also know that I'm going to leave a little space for a sec. We also know that angle A and angle B equal 180 degrees, and that's because they are supplementary angles. But here's what we really want to show. We want to prove that angle B is equal to angle D, and we can show algebraically that angle D is equal to 180 minus angle A. So it doesn't matter what angle A is, we can figure out angle D. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to use my justification as algebra, just moving things around. Well, similarly, we can say the same thing about angle B. Angle B is 180 minus angle A. Again, the same reason, algebra. Now, again, that's like a bit of magic, but that's my experience, and that's what we want you to get. But what you should see now is you should see that angle D is equal to 180 minus angle A, and angle B is equal to 180 degrees minus A. Therefore, angle D equals angle B, and the reason is they both equal 180 minus angle A. So what we've done is we haven't used numbers per se. I mean, 180 is a number, but it's a relationship. We haven't used specific angles. We've just used our ideas that we've been learning. And finally, our last statement is always what we want to show. And we get better at doing these by doing more of them. So here's a new question. And what we want to show is we want to show that side ST is equal to TR. So I'm just going to put a little circle just to help me understand, okay, that's what I really want to do. My very last statement is going to be side ST is the same as RT. Now, whenever you're given information, you want to write things down. So first of all, we are told QR is parallel to ST. So this symbol right here, that symbol means parallel. That's a given. So we're given that. Now, in reading angles, always start with the letter, go to the middle, and then finish off on the last letter. So angle QRS, here's our Q, and we go to R, and we go to S. So I kind of think of shoulder, elbow, hand. But angle R, or angle QRS, is that little angle up top. And angle TRS is this one right here. So there's the one we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to relabel those really simple letters, little a and little b. And I know that angle A is equal to angle B. That's a given too. So we want to write down what our given information is. Now, in order to show that angle or sides ST and RT are equal, what I want you to notice is by showing that they are equal, we say they're an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangles are triangles with two equal sides and base angles equal to the same. So if I could show that this little angle here and this little angle were the same, then I can say that the two sides are the same. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to label this little c and this little d. Now remember what we know. We know angle A equals angle B, but what I also know is angle A equals angle D. And the reason I know that is they are alternate interior. They are on opposite sides of the transversal. The transversal is line RS. They're alternate interior angles. And I know that angle B equals angle C. Now, they're also alternate interior, but right now, I don't really care about that. But here's what I do know with respect to angle B. I know that angle B equals angle D as well. And the reason I know that angle B equals angle D is they both equal angle A. So angle B equals angle A, equal D equals angle A. Therefore, they equal each other. And what I've just done is I've just shown that B and D are equal. Therefore, it's an isosceles triangle. So I can say that triangle RST is isosceles. And again, we can say that because the base angles, the ones we've just talked about, are equal. And given that I've shown it's a right triangle, then ST is equal to TR. And we could say, because it's an isosceles triangle, but I'll just say the definition of an isosceles triangle. So your last statement is always what you are trying to prove. And again, you have to think your way through. You have to try some things. Sometimes they don't work, and you just go back. But remember, statement, reason, statement, reason, statement, reason. So here's kind of a messy looking one. But again, what it will help us do is, label triangles and do a little bit of math language. But this one here is really quite straightforward. So here's what I want to show. I want to show this side right here is parallel to this side right here. So as soon as you see parallel, you want to think about your statements, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, all of those things. And what I hope you see is that angle DCG, so that's the very top left one, start at D, go to C, over to G, is equal to angle BAE. Again, that's this one right here, BAE, and here's DCE. And given that they're equal, what that means is, well, that's the given, because we're told the number, so that's given. And just by that statement alone, we can say CG is parallel to AE because our angles we just said are corresponding. And two classes ago, we looked at the idea if you have a pair of corresponding angles that have the same value, then the line has to be parallel. So some of these proofs are really, really straightforward. Some of them are a little bit tricky. But again, it really is helpful to identify what you want to prove. I just highlighted it with green, with yellow, so that really helps you get started. So here's another example. Prove the alternate interior theorem. So here's what you simply want to do. You want to pick a matching pair of alternate interior angles. And what we know angle C and angle F are equal because they're alternate interior and they're parallel. But we want to prove. So somehow we want to do a proof, and at the very end, we want to say angle C is equal to angle F. That's what we want to say. So here's how we might try it. And again, there's more than one way to do it. So what I could say is angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. And I can also say that angle F plus angle H equals 180 degrees, and both of those reasons are supplementary. Given that, if they're both equal to 180, they're both equal to each other. Angle F plus angle H, they're both equal to each other because they both equal 180 degrees. And given that we know angle A equals angle H, and again, the reason is alternate exterior angles, we can then go ahead and say that angle C equals angle F, and I'm going to use the reason elimination. You might say subtraction, you might say algebra, but the basic idea is if angle A equals angle F, well, we can eliminate that. Sorry, angle A equals, where's my thing here? Angle A equals angle H, sorry, I erased the wrong one. Then all we have left over is angle C equals angle F. So we had a little creativity. One last one, and you might want to pause the video for a sec and try it yourself. But again, we want to prove the co-interior. So it doesn't matter which one you pick, the D and the F are co-interior or the C and the E are co-interior. That's what you're going to go ahead. So we have to show that those two things add up to 180 degrees. And maybe it starts like this, similar to above. Well, what do we know? We know angle B plus angle D equals 180. And we know angle F plus angle H equals 180. And both of those reasons are supplementary. We also know that angle B equals angle F. And we also know that angle D equals angle H. And again, we know that because those are examples of corresponding angles. And given that that's true, what we can simply substitute in, instead of one of the angles above, we can plug the other one. So given that, we can say angle D plus angle F is equal to 180 degrees. And again, the reason would be substitution. So basically, we're just plugging one of them in for the other one, and we're getting our answer. So it would be something like this thing right here. Instead of having this B up here, I'm going to substitute this F up there, and then there's our angle F plus angle D equals 180 degrees.